Okay guys, so I'm going to show you how I prep my natural nails for acrylic application, but first of all, I'm going to be putting on a glove because my nails are crusty, you guys. You guys know that I am a nail biter, so my nails are always crusty. So just bear with me for a while. I'm going to start off, you guys. I always start off with, just my hand sanitizer. It does not contain the same one from Mia Secret. This is just the container. I'm using it because it just has alcohol. But what I do is I add alcohol, half alcohol, and half of this one from NSI. I add half and half. It's half Sani Pure from NSI, as you can see. I added half to this bottle and half of alcohol because that other one is really strong, you guys, and sometimes it even makes me sneeze. So I added half and half, so it's not as strong. So I'm just gonna like literally disinfect like my hands, and then I'm gonna use a cuticle pusher. You want to make sure you always use a cuticle pusher. These had already been disinfected, but I always do this when it's with a client, you guys. Every single time a client comes in, I always spray my cuticle pusher, my nail files, and my drill bits, even though they've already been disinfected. So I always do that. I don't know, you guys, it's just a habit I have. So what I do is I'm gonna start off by pushing back the cuticles. You always want to make sure you push back your cuticles because this is going to expose the new growth of the nail, and it also prevents lifting. So you want to make sure you do this, you guys. This video has been very highly requested for me to do this, so I'm going to be literally doing a full set as I would like on myself. So yeah, you guys. So as you can see, I've already pushed back my cuticles. Okay, so now I'm going to be using two different drill bits. I'm going to be using this one, this tiny one right here, to this is going to be for around the cuticle area. Okay, and then this other one is gonna be for the natural nail. So I'm gonna start off with the one for the cuticle, and I'm gonna be putting it into my drill, and then I'm gonna lock this in place. Now I'm gonna turn on my drill to up to 3000 RPMs, and then I'm gonna be removing all that cuticle. So now I'm gonna turn off my drill, and then I'm gonna put that in reverse and do the same thing, but now we're gonna go this way. Okay, so now I'm gonna change the drill bit like I told you, and I'm gonna go in with the sanding band. This is a fine grit sanding band. Make sure you use a fine grit. You do not want to damage your natural nails, so make sure you're using a fine grit sanding band. We're gonna turn on our drills and make sure they are at a 3000 RPMs. I'm gonna put that again back into the forward motion because I am working with my right hand. So all you want to do is just kind of go around the cuticle area one more time, and then we're just gonna buff the shine of the natural nail. Now you don't want to thin out your natural nails or your client's natural nails. All you want to do is remove the shine. You see how there's like this little shiny part right there, and then there's another one about right there. You want to make sure you remove all that shiny part of the natural nail. Okay, we are going to dust everything. Make sure you dust everything off. Now I'm going to be taking my cuticle nippers. I'm going to take my cuticle nippers and I'm going to spray them again with a little bit of that alcohol thing that we just did. You know, and just remove any little cuticle particles or little cuticle left behind. You just want to make sure you remove that. So now it's time to glue on the tips. You want to make sure that when you're measuring your tip, you're measuring sidewall to sidewall. As you can see, this is way too big for me. So I'm gonna go in with this one. As you guys can see here, it fits perfect sidewall to sidewall. So this is what I'm gonna be doing, and these are the ones that I'm gonna be using. This is a glue I'm using right now. I got it off of AliExpress a while ago, but the only thing that I don't like is this. It's like literally there's nothing to it. It doesn't have a stopper or anything, so that's why I have it in this little container right here, because it would always fall everywhere. So I'm gonna be gluing on my tips. So now I'm just gonna cut them to like the desired length. I really want, I don't want them to be short or long. I want them to be like medium. And again, these are gonna be almond. So I hope I'm cutting them right. And this one. So now I'm gonna take the same sanding band, and I'm gonna take the same sanding band we used to prep our natural nails, and we're gonna sand off the little these little edges or corners. And again, it's at 3000 RPMs. We're just gonna wipe everything that there's no dust, and then I'm gonna take a little lint-free wipe. I get these little lint-free wipes off of AliExpress, and again we're gonna spray that same spray. Make sure there's no dust around the cuticles. Make sure everything's off, completely gone. This is my nail prep, my dehydrator, and this is your super bond. Let me just tell you something really quick. I want it. You can use whatever you have at home. I just like these because this is a duo. I know the young nail ones is really good. You guys can work, with whatever you have at home. So dehydrator, you guys. This works as dehydrator. You can use 75% alcohol and 75% alcohol, which would be maybe this much, and 25% acetone. That will be your dehydrator. But if you have your dehydrator at home, for example, I have the duo, you can totally use that. So I'm gonna take my dehydrator and dehydrate my nails. You see how it starts turning? Look, you see how it turns, did you see that? It started to turn like a whitish color. It's because that means that the nail is dehydrated. So now I'm gonna take my Super Bond from Valentino and just add bond to these. So I'm just gonna be very careful. If you want to add a second coat, you do that. You don't have to, but I do. After you apply this, you want to make sure that your client or yourself don't touch that area anymore, because then it's not gonna work out. So now I'm gonna take my Glamming Glitz acrylic powder. This one is the clear. That's what it looks like. And I'm also gonna take my Glam and Glitz liquid monomer, which is one of my favorites. So I'm gonna work with that. I also like to work with these dental bibs because from the back they have like plastic. So like whenever I like to place these down on my table, I like to place them down on my table, and then I grab my Viva paper towels, place it right on top of that. That's what you guys see every single time in my videos. I just place it on top, and it doesn't let the monomer like go down to my table or ruin this little mat that I have. So that's why I like those dental bibs. You can find those on Amazon. Tip so that your monomer never spills everywhere. I always like to do this. I place down my brush on the container. And you see, there's no spilling. So I'm going to be adding a super thin coat all over the nails. It doesn't have to be that big. As you guys can see, it's super, super, super small. So now I'm going to take it, not on top of the cuticle, but super close to the cuticle. And then with this area of the brush, I want to push this side of the acrylic underneath that cuticle area. As you can see, my brush works as like a barrier so that I don't touch the cuticle, and then I just bring it down the nail. And that's pretty much what I do. Why do I do this, you guys? Okay, there's many reasons why I do this, and ever since I started doing nails, one, it's a habit that I have. Two, second of all, it also prevents lifting because my acrylic powder, clear acrylic powder, is really literally it's just pure. It's literally pure. It does not contain any type and sort of pigment or anything else, so it really helps me, you know, to really adhere that nail in place, and so that there's no lifting. Second of all, sometimes we have clients that are very like hyper, or I don't know what the heck, but they just can't be still. And this really helps us that whenever you go and you've already applied your primer, this really helps us that they're not gonna ruin that primer area. You know what I mean? Because once they touch that primer, or they dug their hand into their purse, or they scratched their head and the primer was in their nails, literally that area, it's already contaminated, and you're gonna have to start all over. Like literally remove it with alcohol and apply everything starting from the dehydrator. So you don't want to do that, you know, it's just double work. So this really helps me to like literally it just secures my work, you know what I mean? So like if my client wants to really dig their hand into their purse, scratch their head, text, whatever the heck they're doing with their hand, it's just gonna secure that primer for me in place, and I'm not gonna have to go back and reapply. So I like to do this whenever I'm working with a client, even on myself. Like I said, it's literally a habit that I have as well. So I don't know, I literally automatically do this. Doesn't matter with who, I go ahead and do this. I never skip this step. So I literally just applied a super thin coat of acrylic all over the nails, and these nails are good to go for any acrylic application, or any color that you guys want. And this is what the nails look like so far. I'm not gonna go into and do an application or a design, you guys, just because this is just for like video purposes, and this is how I prep the nail. Now let's go more detailed into powder to ratio, because you guys have been asking me powder to ratio. Like I told you in my past video, powder to ratio, oh my god, I hate when that happens. For me, it's, you know, this is what works for me. Let me just tell you, like, if you want a super big bead, you want to dig your brush in the monomer. Make sure my brush, I'm sorry, doesn't have any more bubbles, as you guys can see. So you want to make sure that your brush does not have any bubbles any longer, and we're gonna go for the big bead. So I'm gonna dip it, and then I'm gonna brush from one side. I'm sorry, you can't even see. Dip it, brush from one side, remove excess from one side, and then we're gonna pick up the bead from this side of the brush. So dip, wipe, and then you're gonna tap 3 times. Again, dip, wipe with this side of the brush, tap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And as you guys can see, this is what my bead looks like. Now I'm gonna apply it on the little practice hand here, or I'm sorry, little practice nail here. So dip, brush, and then 1, 2, 3. So there's my big bead. Now I'm gonna apply it here. What I would usually do, I wouldn't start it there. I would have started at the apex area. But as you guys can see, it's a pretty big bead. I go and wipe and brush again so that my brush is not dirty. Now with the belly of the brush, not with the tip, but with the belly of the brush, I want to bring that product down. That's what I'm doing. Okay. And that was pretty much enough to cover the whole nail. As you can see, it's not thick or anything. But let's say you want to cover the cuticle area. You want a small bead because you want that area, you want the cuticle area to look thin. So I'm going to take a small bead. So I'm going to dip once, 1, 2, 3, and then dip once into the monomer. As you guys can see, it's pretty small. So I'm going to remove any excess of liquid and place it down onto the cuticle area. As you guys can see, it's not even moving anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's just there in place. Now I'm just going to bring it. Make sure that you don't touch the cuticle. Brush down. Okay, so let's say that you want a medium bead. So you're gonna take your brush, dip it in there. You're gonna dip it in there, and then you're gonna wipe 1, 2, and then you're gonna do 1, 2. So that's more of a medium bead. So I like to take my medium beads in the apex area because to me that's what builds up the nail. That's what's been working for me. So again, brushing it down the nail. Again, you wanna use the belly of your nail and not the tip of the nail. I mean the belly of the brush, not the tip of the brush. So you're gonna remove all bubbles. Okay, you're gonna wipe once. You know what? Maybe this thing is taking too much space. Let me remove that. dip once, wipe, 1, 2, 3. This would be a big bead. Medium bead. Dip, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this would be a medium bead. As you guys can see, they're getting smaller. For the small bead, dip once. You're gonna dip 1, 2, 3, and 1. So that's what a small bead looks like. You see how they got smaller? So I really hope this worked out, you guys, and I really hope you guys understood what I was telling you. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the comment section. I will see you guys here on the next one. Thank you for being here. God bless, and bye-bye.